Good morning, boys. The hymn we would sing were we together would be 110. That's the one that begins, Love divine, all loves excelling, joy of heaven to earth come down. First, the silly, the wonderful and the silly. I was noodling around online yesterday, boys. I know, that's hard to believe when you spend the whole day on the screen. Sometimes you noodle. And I found a video that was so perfectly charming that I must describe it to you. A couple of children are playing out in their driveway. They're somewhere in suburbia. This is not New York City. So they're playing out in their driveway, and they're very small, maybe 5, 6 years old, and they have a couple of plastic dump trucks, or kind of, pretend construction equipment, toys. And they're happily playing with them. And on the street, some distance away, there's some work going on. That is to say, construction work. And there's this enormous machine, which is, I don't know, there's a term for this. It looks sort of like a bulldozer, but it has a big, massive scoop on the front. And the driver takes note of the children, and so he brings this monstrous machine down the street. And then, neat as you please, he lowers the scoop on his machine, and he ever so gently dumps a few pounds of earth with this monstrous claw into their toys while they stand there just, beyond with glee. It's amazing. And I hope I've given you some idea of it from my description, but I bet you're saying to yourself right now, wow, I'd like to see that. Well, guess what? That is part of this morning's email message. So look for that. I think you'll find it almost as charming as I did. Next order of business. This one more serious because it involves books. You know that the book fair is going on right now, and I hope you are enjoying it and wandering the aisles, so to speak. A boy wrote me yesterday, and he said, "What do you recommend?" And I was very flattered to be asked this question because I don't know much. But I love that this boy wanted to get some advice, because if you're wandering the shelves in a library, it's no big deal to just pull down something, right? But if you're going to buy a book, you want to have some idea of what you're getting into. You don't want to buy a book just because, right? So I have responded to that boy to say, here's some suggestions from me. I'm happy to do the same if you have questions, but probably better than asking me would be asking Mr. Schwartz, Mrs. Reed, friends of yours, right? Get suggestions, boys. Now, let me wrap up. We have the last 3 book reports of the year. Hurts me too. We're at the end of the line. Perhaps if another 6th grader would like to give a book report, that's fine, but every 6th grader will have given at least one. Now, we're about to get off to work, but before we do, a little prize for those of you who have stuck around this far. If you can tell me the oldest book of the 3 that are reviewed today, that is to say the first one that was published, and when it was published, the first boy to respond, small meaningless prize. All right, boys. To work!